This is video number 4 for section 10.7 in the guided notes. Here we're going to just do a couple of examples. So let's look at an example like this. If we have the secant of x times the cosecant of x minus 2 times the cosecant of x is equal to 0. Well, we want to remember ultimately end up with one of those three basic forms that we talked about before. So we have to think about performing some algebra and try to simplify this equation to get it down to one of those forms. So like with any equation, we can think about factoring. So we want to factor out a cosecant. So we have the cosecant of x times quantity, the secant of x minus 2, and quantity equal to 0. So now we can remember properties of real numbers, right? We use the zero factor theorem that tells us that in order for this product to be 0, one of the two factors must be 0. So we end up having two sets of equations. The cosecant of x is equal to 0, or the secant of x is equal to 2. And from here, we're going to transform these equations into one of those three forms. Well, the first one, where we have the cosecant of x equals 0, is this ever going to be true? Is the cosecant ever equal to 0? Well, this is never going to be true, so we don't have to worry about that case, right? We only have to worry about the second equation. So in the second equation, we have the secant of x equals 2. So when we transform this equation into an equivalent form involving cosine, this is the same as cosine of x equal to 1/2. And we had solved that problem earlier, and we remember that the fundamental solution, right, was given to us by Pythagoras. So I'll let you recall that video number 2. So let's look at a second example. We have 2 sine squared x is equal to 1 minus the sine of x. So here we have a quadratic in the variable in sine, right? So we want to modify this equation by introducing a substitution. Let u equal to the sine of x. Then that original equation can be transformed into 2u squared is equal to 1 minus u. And now that's a simple quadratic equation to solve. So let's put it in standard form. We get 2u squared plus u minus 1 is equal to 0. And then we can factor, right? We can factor that as u plus 1 times 2u minus 1 equal to 0. And now once again we use that zero product rule that tells us either u plus 1 is equal to 0 or 2u minus 1 is equal to 0, which gives us u is equal to -1 or u is equal to 1/2. And again we produce two sets of equations. Well, we reintroduce our substituted variable, and we have the sine of x is -1, or the sine of x is 1/2. and just solve each of these. Right. So for this first equation here, the sine of x equal -1, we recall the fundamental solution. Where is the sine equal to -1? Well, that's when our fundamental angle is 3 pi halves, or negative pi halves, if we want to write it like that as well. So we have our general solution then is given by x is 2k pi plus 3 pi halves, or the second fundamental solution would be x is 2k pi plus pi minus 3 pi halves, which turns out to be minus pi halves here. And for the second equation, we have the sine of x equals 1/2. We solved that in video number 1.